The atomic bomb made the prospect of future war unendurable. It has led us up those last few steps to the mountain pass, and beyond there is a different country. The world is not a problem to be solved, it is a living being to which we belong. The best way to send a message is to wrap it up in a person. In physics, you don't have to go around making trouble for yourself, nature does it for you. The optimist thinks this is the best of all possible worlds. The pessimist fears it is true. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. There must be no barriers to freedom of inquiry. There is no place for dogma in science. The most successful men in the end are those whose success is the result of steady accretion. The essence of science is independent thinking, hard work, and not giving up. There are children playing in the streets who could solve some of my top problems in physics, because they have modes of sensory perception that I lost long ago. The way to do research is to attack the facts at the point of greatest astonishment. Knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. Science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge. There are no secrets in science. The truth is always out there, waiting to be discovered. The scientist is not a person who gives the right answers, he's one who asks the right questions. In science, there is only physics. All the rest is stamp collecting. The only way to live is to accept each minute as an unrepeatable miracle. The true laboratory is the mind, where behind illusions we uncover the laws of truth. It is not the weapon but the man who wields it that is important. A scientist must be a person of culture in the broadest sense in order to avoid becoming narrow and sterile. What we call science has the sole purpose of determining what is. The pursuit of science leads only to the insoluble problems of metaphysics. The most important thing about a man is not his physical body but his mind and his character. The central task of science is to arrive, stage by stage, at a clearer comprehension of nature. Theoretical physics is one of the few fields in which being disabled is no handicap, it is all in your head. The man who makes everything that leads to happiness depends upon himself, and not upon other men, has adopted the very best plan for living happily. It is perfectly obvious that the whole world is going to hell. The only possible chance that it might not is that we do not attempt to prevent it from doing so. In any given moment, there is a possibility for change. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. There is always a spirit of inquiry, a questioning of why things are the way they are, in successful scientists. Science is the great antidote to the poison of enthusiasm and superstition. The essence of success is that it is never necessary to think of a new idea oneself. It is far better to wait until somebody else does it, and then to copy him in every detail, except his mistakes. A scientist cannot prove that he is right, but he can state his position and be willing to stand corrected if he is wrong. The most exciting phrase to hear in science, the one that heralds new discoveries, is not "Eureka," but "That's funny." To every man is given the key to the gates of heaven, the same key opens the gates of hell. The greatest discoveries of science have always been those that forced us to rethink our beliefs about the universe and our place in it. I have become convinced that the more I understand, the more I do not understand. The scientist has a lot of experience with ignorance and doubt and uncertainty, and this experience is of very great importance, I think. The human mind is not capable of grasping the universe. We are like a little child entering a huge library. The act of discovery is not in finding new lands, but in seeing with new eyes. The most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out for himself. If the radiance of 1,000 suns were to burst forth at once in the sky, that would be like the splendor of the Mighty One. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. When you see something that is technically sweet, you go ahead and do it and argue about what to do about it only after you've had your technical success. The atomic bomb made it possible to destroy the world without the need for an enemy. There are few things more dangerous than inbred religious certainty. In science one tries to tell people, in such a way as to be understood by everyone, something that no one ever knew before. The best way to have a good idea is to have lots of ideas. The most important things in life are not material possessions, but the values we hold and the people we love. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. A scientist's aim in a discussion with his colleagues is not to persuade, but to clarify. The physicist is like someone who's watching people playing chess and, after watching a few games, he may have worked out what the moves in the game are. But understanding the rules is just a trivial pursuit. In order to be a chess master, you have to play the game. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. The best education is not given to students, it is taken by them. The most valuable thing you can make is a mistake. You can't learn anything from being perfect. Scientists are often people who have become alienated from the familiar, partly because their work takes them away from it for long periods, partly because they operate on such an esoteric plane. Science, like art, is not a copy of nature but a recreation of her. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. We have to live today by what truth we can get today and be ready tomorrow to call it falsehood.